Hello, everybody. Welcome back. How is your mood today? How are you feeling? Today in Poland, we have a bank holiday. So for majority of us, it should be a great and pleasant day. Well, it almost is because the weather is so nasty and it's May. Come on, weather, be better, please. But anyway, today I would like to show you that absolutely nobody, including the weather, is perfect. Not even English native speakers. It's obvious that a person who learns something new, in this case a language, commits mistakes. Equally obvious is the fact that native speakers commit mistakes in their mother tongue too. Stop for a second and think, when was the last time you had trouble with saying an idiom or a proverb in your language correctly? I constantly confuse Polish proverbs, probably every day. Oh, and are you always able to use a correct form of a verb in your language? I don't think so. We all make mistakes in every language we know. Why am I talking about this? Well, because I've observed that many people who I know feel terrible when they make a mistake in English. They are ashamed and don't want to speak English ever again, or they feel guilty or even unworthy. Sounds serious and even a bit scary. Well, yes, if you are wondering why we feel that way, here are some possible answers. We put too much pressure on ourselves. We want to present the best version of ourselves, especially at work or any important for us situation. Of course, if you claim in your CV that your level of English is C1, so very high, and then you don't know how to build a correct and basic sentence, then you should feel bad because you lie and you waste the hiring company time. You shouldn't lie about your level of English, especially if English will be necessary in this kind of job. Somebody is going to verify it if you really speak that well or that bad. But that's not today's topic. Let me continue. People feel bad when they commit a mistake because they see it from the wrong perspective. We should be happy we make them because it means we notice them, we can correct them and speak better and better. Mistakes are good. They shouldn't be perceived as something negative. Unless you make this kind of a mistake where you hurt other people or you lose a lot of money. But that's not our today's topic either. Let's continue. We are often afraid of other people's opinion. And you probably know what I'm going to say now. We shouldn't care about other people's opinion. Well, about random people's opinion. You made one stupid grammar mistake, or two, or even three. But all in all, you made the deal. Everybody understood you. You used the language to communicate with others and it worked. But instead of being happy, you sit alone in the bathroom and sob and think, or rather overthink. And why? Because they noticed those mistakes for sure. And now they think you are stupid. Well, let me tell you, I don't think so. And even if they do, they are stupid for thinking that way, not you. It's not your problem. Also, we don't realize that we commit mistakes in our own language. And if we do, it's a reason to laugh or to check what the correct version of this and that word is. So here we have an element of education again. And let me give you an example in Polish. For Polish people, I'm sorry. But would you say that you would like to eat gofr, gofera, gofra? I know what the correct form is, but other people from Poland don't. And those other people know that we say brelok. And I, for a long time, thought it's brylok. So what? Now I know. It took me a few years, but now I use it correctly. We should treat English in the same way. You committed a mistake? Great, let's check the correct version of it and forget about feeling bad. Probably there are many more reasons why we feel stupid after committing a mistake, especially in another language. But I leave it for psychological analysis because it's too complex and depends on many different components like your background, gender, age, status, and so on and so on. It's, too complex, too complicated. And now I will give you a few examples of the most common mistakes committed in English by English native speakers. So you see that people speaking English from the time they were born aren't different from other people speaking different languages. Number 1 would be spelling. So how many times did you wonder if you should write lose, meaning not win, with single O or double O? You are not the only one. Some native speakers, let's not generalize, so some native speakers have the same or similar issues. And come on, we do too in our own languages. Number 2. So the second point is strongly connected to the first one. Issues with homophones. Homophones are words that sound the same, but they are spelled differently. And also they have a totally different meaning. For example, a flower, so a kind of a plant that men should give women more often, and flower, the same pronunciation, different spelling, which is a white powdery thing that we use to bake. So because they sound the same, sometimes people confuse the wrong word with the correct one. I even realized that when I write an email and I'm in a hurry, it happens that I dictate a sentence in my head and I write the wrong word, which is a homophone of the word I should use instead. And of course, I'm not an English native speaker, but I think it's a similar mechanism that works here. So you just hear the words and you write it down, and then it occurs. It's a different word, but it sounds the same. So it's tricky and a bit funny. Number 3, countable and uncountable nouns. So some of you might know that we use fewer with countable nouns, so we can count them. So for example, I get fewer flowers than 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, I used to get 10 flowers and now I get only 2. Okay, so we can count them. And we use less with uncountable, so we cannot count the thing. For example, I drink less coffee than my boss. Okay, coffee is a liquid. We cannot count it like 1, 2, 3. So here we go. So native speakers tend to use a word less more often with countable and uncountable nouns. I even read an article which says that a lot of supermarkets put a sign which says 10 items or less instead of 10 items or fewer. Because items are countable. We can count them. And here we go, native speakers use less with countable noun. Isn't it interesting? Is it boring? Hopefully not. Okay, and the common mistake would be double negatives. So in English, we cannot use double negation in one sentence. So we cannot say, I don't talk to nobody. The correct sentence would be, I don't talk to anybody. Sometimes you can hear in the movies when somebody says, I ain't no criminal. Ain't, which is I am not, plus no criminal. Double negation. And I think it's so common in some communities that it's just a manner of speech, which is not officially correct, but correct for everyday speech. In general, common and repetitive mistakes become something that is correct. Of course, it needs to be repetitive for a very long time and it needs to be a common phenomenon. So it's not perceived as a mistake anymore. And it's a funny thing with mistakes, because mistakes that become a correct version of a word or grammar rule are quite normal. And you know why? Well, because every language is alive and it evolves together with us. So don't worry if you commit a mistake. Maybe native speakers commit it too. And so often that soon it will be just a correct part of the grammar or vocabulary. So for your homework today, I would like to ask you about your frequent mistakes that you cannot avoid, or maybe you have a funny story based on one of your language mistakes. I definitely have many, but I will share with you one of them. So I encourage you to share yours. So at the beginning of me learning Spanish, I discovered that I can try to say a Polish or an English word with Spanish suffix ending, right? So, it will be correct, or at least other people will get what I want to say. So once I was at the bar with some friends and I really wanted to speak Spanish. So I took a chance and I wanted to say that I was embarrassed. So I said, estoy embarazada. Sounds like a Spanish version of an English adjective, right? Well, no, not this time. Embarazada in Spanish doesn't even stand near being embarrassed or ashamed. It means to be pregnant. So I accidentally said that I was pregnant, and I wasn't. I was just ashamed. So after that mistake, I was even more embarrassed. So here you go. Now it's your turn. And last but not least, let me share with you a story of Kasia, who did her homework and she sent it to me. And if you remember correctly, last week I asked you to share with me a language that you would like to speak and a country where this language is spoken, where you would like to live. So Kasia, she would like to live in South Korea or Japan, and she would like to speak their languages. In case of Japanese, she had several opportunities to learn it, and in her youth, she really liked to watch anime and Japanese TV series. Also, she had the native teacher in her high school and the Japanese lessons for free. And she thinks that her Japanese is much better than her Russian or German, and those two languages were mandatory in high school. So she wishes she could spend more time on it. Good luck, Kasia. Hopefully one day you will speak Japanese fluently. And now that's it for today. I wish you a great day, a beautiful afternoon and wonderful night. Hear you very, very soon. Thank you. Bye.